So I want to start this off by saying, you are not too much. You are at the wrong address, girl. You are at the wrong address. If you have to um, repeatedly beg or ask for hugs, kisses, love, affection, how to be loved, you have to tell somebody how to be loved. If you get constantly told you're too much or you're too emotional or whatever, let me tell you that you are not too much. You are simply at the wrong address. And let me explain. So I was in a domestic violence relationship for 10 years, and he threatened to kill me, so then I left. And then I started dating another man, and for 3 years, I used to have to constantly ask for hugs and, hold my hand and, open the door and just, and I would pour and pour and pour everything I had into the relationship and, always be the one to initiate everything, saying I love you, and always felt like I was too much. I toned myself down and all my love and all my affection. I toned it down to be with this man for 3 years because he didn't like it. Well, I did. And so I ended up leaving. Well, I stayed because he loved my son. So I said, he loved my son, so I'm going to stay. And I realized one day that that's not enough. That is simply not enough. I need more. And so I left and I started talking to a new guy, and he lives 2 hours away. And I said, oh, we're having church, and invited him. And in the past, like it would be disappointment if I said, I want to do this. Can we do this? Something I want to do. And so I asked him, and, deep down, I'm like, I'm not going to keep my hopes up because I've been disappointed in the past. But not only did that man drive 2 hours away, but he came early so we could hang out before church. Not just like an hour, just like a few hours early. So we could go and go for a walk and talk. And then he stayed for service. And then he stayed for a while afterwards. And then left around 10 o'clock. Had to drive 2 hours home. And so if he wanted to, he would. Let me tell you that. If he wanted to, he would. You don't have to ask. You don't have to beg. You're just simply at the wrong address. And so our first interaction was we went for a walk. And it was like 90 degrees. So it's really hot outside, And and so we went walking and, talked the whole way and just, talked and talked and talked. And I rambled on, and ADHD brain, so I start with story A, and then I go to story B, and then I go to story C, and then I wrap around, go to B, finish A, just kind of confusing to most people. But not only did he reassure me that, no, you are not too much, A, and B, that he listened to every story I had and then shared his stories too, just talked and talked. And when we got done, I said, oh, how long did we go for a walk for? And he's like, 4 hours. I was like, 4 hours? Oh my gosh, it felt like 20 minutes. It didn't even feel like a long walk at all. It just felt like a 20-minute walk because we just talked and shared our stories and, just hung out, And so then the next encounter, we went out to eat, and we met up with his friend, and we talked, joking, have a good time, talk serious, got down, just, had fun. And we were talking, and the middle of it, he goes, I'm with a beautiful blonde, just like, and just kind of says it loudly, so probably the whole restaurant or half the restaurant could hear. Most people might have been embarrassed. I I was not embarrassed. I was like, you know, like all giddy schoolgirl, you know, like, ha, you know. And I didn't tell him, you know, that I had to, you know, like initiate or beg, you know, or whatever for the emotions and the feelings in the last relationship. And he said that his friend was probably, maybe he was embarrassed, but I didn't care. I was just like, yeah, that's my, you know, like, get it. And I just felt so special, you know, and I didn't tell him that. And so then we go to leave, and he gives me not one, not two, but 3 hugs. And I was just like, oh, 3 hugs, you know, like I used to have to ask for hugs. And it's not just like, oh, quick, you know, oh, nice to meet you hug, you know, or a friend or whatever. It was just like a really genuinely a hug, you know. And I was just like, one for every year that I had to beg for a hug, I got 3, you know. And then he opens doors for me, you know, like, what? Men still do this? Like, there's men out there that will treat you with the love and utmost respect, and you don't have to beg for it. What? Mind blown. And so you're not at the wrong, you're not too much to love. You're at the wrong address. And if he wanted to, he would. And don't take breadcrumbs for love. You don't have to simply beg for the little things in life. If a man wants to, he will give it to you. He will reach past his own feelings to give you the simple things in life, you know. And I feel like it's God saying, you know, you've been through these crummy relationships all your life, and now you're 40, and I'm going to send you a real man, one that just is the sweet, loving, kind, somebody that has a heart like mine, you know. If that's the thing, you know, don't settle. Wait for God's best for you. Don't fall for them red flags, or don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore them. The guy that I'm talking to now is literally a walking green flag. And it's just so amazing to me that, you know, how little of I've accepted in the past from men, and how much this man has done in such a simple time, you know, and such a small amount of time. And I'm just like, wow, God, you're going to blow my mind in this season of my life. So I said 40 was going to be the greatest year, but I think 41 is starting out to be pretty good, pretty great, you know. And I only think that, you know, life's going to get better and better. Just aging like fine wine, I guess, you know. No, but in seriousness, don't we all get better with age? You know, you live and you learn a lot. And just don't settle. You know, just don't ignore the red flags, and just wait for your walking green flag. They will come.